The GrayZone 0.4 update was a little bit delayed. In December, they came out with a devlog saying that they needed a little bit more time. Well, here we are in getting to the end of February and being with Regiment. I got an exclusive opportunity to go in and actually play with Jakob, one of the devs with the GrayZone team, and he gave us a little bit of information about what's coming up in this upcoming update. Now, the first thing is they are changing the name from Dark Revelations. We don't know what the new name is for this release, but it's not going to be Dark Revelations anymore. They are letting us know that it is going to be a very good lore update. It's going to include faction lore. It's going to include, a lot of things that are going to help continue to tie everything together in Le Mans, which is absolutely amazing. I'm so stoked. So I played for a little bit, and then I just started to take notes. So I'm going to run through what I wrote down, some of the things that the other community leaders and gamers brought up, and how it was addressed, as well as some of the quarrels, some of the praises, things like that. I'll start off with a praise. This is the thing that makes the GrayZone Warfare team as incredible as it is. Their communication with us has been spot on since day one, and it hasn't changed. Like, it's never fallen off in 2 years. We're at 22 months that this game has been released. They have never stopped communicating with us, and it's been incredible to play the game, watch it evolve, watch them as gamers, watch the game that they want to play be created. So, Q1 is when this will be released. So, as of right now, in 2 weeks, so this is recorded on 2/21. In 2 weeks, they will be having their first devlog. There's going to be 3 devlogs, and then after that third devlog is released, then the next week they're going to release that. That puts it at March 28th. So, mark your calendars. March 28th appears to be when they are going to be releasing the 0.4 update. It's going to be the 27th to the 28th, we'll say. All right. They talked about this will stay a milsim game. This is not going to be Call of Duty. There's not going to be skins. You're not going to run into Nicki Minaj or anybody. You're not going to run into Seth Rogen. You're not going to see all the crazy stuff like that. The thing that you're going to see is more variety in the clothing. Right now, something that was talked about was like nobody's going to be wearing short sleeves in Le Mans with the amount of bugs and, like if you're a military contractor, you're not dressing like that. They're going to add more flannels. They're going to be adding more variety, but it's never going to get to the point where you're going to see someone running around in a suit smoking a joint or someone in a pink bodysuit just like running through the jungle, right? So glad that they're drawing the line there. They also said that they have no intention of adding thermals or ghillies, so we can just eliminate that. Okay. The 3 devlogs are going to be communicating all these things, and those are going to begin on, he said March 1st-ish. I'm imagining it's probably going to be like the 6th or maybe middle of the week, so we'll say 4th. So maybe like March 4th, maybe they shoot for like March 25th is when point 4 releases. Suppress shots still attracting enemies is being addressed. They're doing a lot of work on the AI. That is something that they are taking pride on, and they even said that they're going to be more deadly. This particular one, not like point 2 Terminator aimbot he wanted to point out, but it's still going to be a work in progress. They're getting better every single update. So I have a lot of hopes for this one, because with him saying that they're going to be more deadly, it made me feel like after he described it, it was going to be more along the lines of they're going to be more human-like, right? So that was kind of a cool thing. Crafting is coming, but not being thought of as survival mechanics. So I know that that's like down the road. That's not even point 4, but with the crafting mechanics, being a DayZ player, I wanted to know, like, are we going to be able to, like, rip a shirt, get some rags, get some, some tincture, get bandages disinfected, and not have to go into a cop or fly back to base or anything like that, because I want to make this as sandbox as possible, right? So they said that not to think about it from a survival mechanic, but I know that with the crafting, it's probably not going to be like, building fires and things like that as far as a survival mechanic yet. Now, something that was spoke about is that while fires are not like in the works right now, as far as like a player creating this, keep yourself warm, the actual weather does affect the food and drink that the player is using. So if it's a sunny day, you are naturally going to need to hydrate more, and I don't think that that's something that it's never been specifically discussed or even really talked about. And that was something that it's kind of been behind the scenes. They haven't really like done a huge rollout because they were like, we want to make sure that it's done properly, and so they've just been kind of like doing it in micro doses, which is really, really sick. The other thing is, obviously, PvP is a major aspect of one half of this game. And Pulpin pointed out, he asked a question, he said, PvP players are either trying to force PvP or they're letting it happen naturally. And that brought in the red circle of death. If someone's engaged, you immediately know on the map, even if you're back at base, you can see, boom, okay, we're being engaged, and then you type in chat to everybody's there. They're talking about eliminating the red circle and making it more of faction communication, and they call it the Sharpie down the line. Probably not 0.4, but there will be better team communications coming with that, which that's going to be absolutely freaking incredible, because eliminating the red circle so the whole server can know where the PvP is like, it's just bait. And it just gets people there, and you run back with a knife, and you run back, and you try to get gear, and like it's dumb. It's really, really dumb to have it that way, and I'm glad that they're addressing it, because the way that a lot from the PvP standpoint's being played could definitely be could be better in coming back and getting gear and things like that. New and drastic changes to missions and constantly changing the vendors. So they're going to continue to, at the beginning missions, they're going to be making you use every type of weapon. It's not just going to be the M4, what it is now. I mean, it's basically an M4 meta, and that's kind of what we dealt with for the last 22 months, is that everybody's using the M4, and then you're basically just trying to level up gunning. You're trying to get it from using the SP to the 855 to, and going through and leveling it up like that. That's something that he was really excited about, is that you're going to have to use more variety of weapons. Now, whether that means they're going to be adding it to the missions, or whether that means that they're going to be, putting it in a sense of the better weapons are further out, and that's where the deadly AI part comes in, is it like you're going to have this gear to even compete with this particular aspect of the map. They said maybe to adding survival mechanics like hunting and fishing in the future. Fingers crossed. Traversing the map with the verticality was addressed. Naming and personalization of boxes is coming. This is all future stuff. This isn't necessarily the 0.4. Dynamic loot areas and dynamic events. This is where I was just overjoyed, right? So with dynamic events, you're going to have to talk to people and work together with other factions. You're not going to be able to do all of this alone. Insert scrub themes here. I'm no Superman, but so you're going to have to voice chat with people and talk to them and make things work so that you can conquer whatever the dynamic event is, right? So it's going to be different parts of the map, dynamic stashes, whatever. I asked him, I said, what would you like to see when it comes to personal servers in the future? And, Jakob being, he was a player manager for DayZ, so he has that desire to be able to have the ability to set the player's loadouts to where a player can have this as soon as they spawn in, rather than it being the second that you spawn in, you have to buy gear, or you're having, like, if it's let's just say it's M4s, or we'll just say West versus East, right? And so like AKs and M4s, and you would have to go in and buy that gear. You couldn't set each player's loadout like you can in DayZ, where you can put an armband and a backpack and whatever you want that particular team to have, you can set. That's something that he really wants to see, and I think that that's something that we probably will see. Is in the end, they want this to be a sandbox game that you can go in and you can chill and you can chat with people and you can go and you can just, complete missions and shoot things, and it's about camaraderie, right? That was the main thing. That was one of the biggest parts of it being a regiment thing, was that it's about camaraderie. We're about supporting veterans and helping veterans, and that's one of the biggest, focuses in GrayZone's future, is that they really do want this to be a milsim game that brings people together, that has a high retention, that has weekly, monthly, daily challenges, that has the seasonal, maybe not a battle pass, but something that keeps players going and bringing more friends and playing more and more. And that's another thing that they were talking about, is that the retention is being addressed heavily. Now, something that is being, and I don't know if this was a leak, this may have been something that may not have been said, but it's okay. They will be changing. If the cop is contested, you will not be able to access your stash. Something that is rampant in PvP is if a cop is owned by, say, Crimson can be in that cop, and they can throw grenades, they can reload, they can get more ammo, they can do whatever they need to do, and then the team that's around the outside is just screwed because you're going to run out of ammo, and that team can just die and respawn and get in their stash and all that kind of stuff. They were also talking about having a cooldown. So if you die at the cop, defending the cop, then you can't spawn back for that particular area. Now that, I don't know, but I think that the cops being, the stash being locked down while the cop is contested, it will be sooner than later. It may even be 0.4, to be honest with you. Again, I praise this dev team tremendously for their ability to communicate with us and be crystal clear. And I can't thank Jakob enough for coming in and, not only answering questions, but also asking questions about what we wanted to see. Like, that's huge when this dev team comes and they actually are not afraid to communicate. That's what's number one. But guys, tell me what you're looking forward to the most about 0.4. Tell me what you are really loving about GrayZone right now. I'm excited for the new missions. Once 0.4 is released, we will be playing this heavy on the channel. So I look forward to seeing you. Catch me every Tuesday with Regiment from 6 to 8 Central, 5 to 7 Central every Tuesday on RegimentGG, and that's Twitch and on Kick. And then obviously catch me live on Twitch, Paradise44, and then here on YouTube. Guys, be kind, stay friendly. Paradise loves you. Out.